Welcome, and thank you for your interest in furthering the discussions around belonging at Duke with your organization or team. This brief training is designed to prep you for facilitating a discussion among your members. We will give you tips and tricks on facilitation, as well as walk you through an overview of the curriculum. First, the vision of this program. Hopefully, by participating in this workshop, your organization will recognize the importance of building an equitable and inclusive community where all members feel like they belong. We also hope you walk away with some tangible next steps related to things you may need to start or stop doing within your organization to assist in those belonging efforts.
Starting out, effective facilitation skills. To be successful in facilitating this program, there are a few skills that we hope you will reflect on for yourself. Consider how you can best create a climate where these are apparent during your program. Trust. Effective facilitators create a space where the participants trust them and feel open to sharing their thoughts. What does this look like? Creating a climate of respect where all views are heard, helping participants view issues from a variety of angles and perspectives, showing interest in the contributions of all participants, not just the most vocal ones. Direction. Effective facilitators help the participants move through their content at their pace. What does this look like? Attention is placed on the participants and not the facilitators. Participants are allowed to struggle with the issues and encouraged to find their own answers. And facilitators are comfortable with moments of silence during discussions.
Effective facilitators also have patience. They trust that the session will unfold how it's supposed to and it takes its course. This looks like not needing to overprocess or overanalyze each situation, staying focused on the overall participant experience, not on any one participant more than others, and understanding that challenges will occur and anticipating feelings of skepticism and frustration. Communication. Effective facilitators exhibit good communication skills. This includes expressing ideas clearly and accurately, being attentive and showing interest in what participants share, and being prepared for difficult conversations, but also showing a sense of humor. Last, effective facilitators encourage students to expand their personal perspective through encouraging growth. This looks like gently encouraging participants and perspectives to question the validity of their arguments, helping participants examine that their realities may be different than others, sharing experiences that may help participants identify new ways of doing things or confronting inappropriate traditions, and encouraging participants to verbalize how their ideas may have changed during this program.
So in reality, it all comes down to this. Facilitation is supporting the curriculum through discussion and activities, creating connections of shared information and experiences, helping participants get good information and affirmation, providing focus and direction, and appropriately challenging and questioning participants. Facilitation is not doing for the participants, being an expert on all the topics, allowing discussion to meander off topic, and being defensive, argumentative, or polarizing. Effective facilitators should be natural, genuine, interested in all participants, engaged in a series of conversations with a variety of participants, clear and non-judgmental in their communication, and flexible and able to adapt to different situations.
Before diving into an overview of the curriculum, we also wanted to give you a few tips on dealing with some common group situations that arise in facilitated discussions. So in managing discussions, we encourage you to summarize the discussions periodically, ask for agreement on the topic or idea, encourage participants to discuss with each other and not just respond to you, and to use a separate space like a whiteboard or a Post-it note to write down ideas that are off topic and tell the group that if there's time, you'll come back to those things. We also encourage you to use silence. Trust it when it occurs, and before asking for responses, give participants time to form their thoughts in their heads. Sometimes it's helpful to count to 10 before asking another question or filling the void. When silence becomes uncomfortable, someone usually steps in. Wait for that. When dealing with disruptive group members, you likely will know who these people are ahead of time, so consider what points may be particularly challenging content and be ready for that. Try to use allies in the space. Are there participants who that disruptive member respects who could help keep them on track? And don't conflate disruptive with challenging. It is okay for people to verbalize their frustrations or challenges with concepts. Ask questions to help them process and encourage others to do the same.
Another challenge that you may come into contact with is members dominating the conversation. So change up how you ask questions. Maybe sometimes it's to the big group, For other times, encouraging a pair and share method. And before asking a question to the group, say, I want to hear from someone who has not spoken today. Another challenge may be negativity. Involve the participants in problem solving and identifying ways to be optimistic. Can you identify together where you agree? Then work on moving forward from that point of agreement. Try to keep the group from succumbing to the negativity. And side conversations. Use eye contact with smaller group or encourage the large group to occasionally find new seats. Ask someone in that smaller group a direct question or move about the room during your facilitation and stand near different groups throughout. Now we want to give you a high-level overview of the content of the program. Some logistics first, though. This workshop should be held with at least 75% of your membership in attendance. It won't be effective if you don't have strong attendance. It is designed to be done in person, but you could easily make some adjustments to do it virtually if that works better for your group. The program will last roughly 60 to 75 minutes and is designed not to need any audio or visual equipment. There is a brief set of supporting PowerPoint slides that you can use if needed, but they're not required. There are 2 different assessments that should be filled out upon program completion. There's one for you as a facilitator to complete and one for the participants to complete. Please be sure to get these shared, as information will help in the development of future iterations of this curriculum. And the facilitator guide should be used just as that, a guide. Don't feel like you have to read it word for word from the guide, but use it to be sure you cover all the concepts fully. The times listed should give you some indication of how long to spend on each portion.
So the content. You'll start the program with a quick welcome. This includes setting some expectations for the time you spend together and outlining what they will gain from the dialogue. Then you'll transition into giving some background on equity-centered community design. Share the points included in this section, and then host a debrief for participants to reflect on this content. Have they heard of these concepts before? What connections can they make to it? If people are slow to talk, have them share responses with a partner and then share out. You'll then move into the bulk of the program, which is the TRIZ activity. We would encourage you to follow the facilitator guide pretty closely as you give instructions for this, since it may sound confusing. As the note in the guide says, try to avoid making comments as the group discusses. There are definitely some right and wrong answers they may share, but encourage them to challenge each other instead of you challenging. But if the participants aren't going deep enough, for instance, they're not critically thinking about actions and behaviors of this particular group, name it. Push them to think deeper.
You'll then debrief as a large group periodically, and then at the very end of the activity as well. This may be a challenging debrief, and there will likely be disagreement about the things to stop doing. Try to get the group to come to a consistency around a few things and work from those to respond to the other questions. It's okay if it starts small. After the activity, you'll make some connections to hazing. This is good content to make sure our members understand and that they also recognize that some of the things they just discussed may fall within that definition. They also may have had a hard time recognizing that some of their behaviors are hazing. The debrief here also may be tough as they begin to challenge their own thoughts and around their behaviors and practices and how they connect to this content. It's okay if you transition to the final portion with people still feeling a little uncomfortable. There are some suggested next steps and dialogues that involve staff that may be helpful in additional processing, so naming that those spaces exist may be helpful.
Finally, be sure to share the assessment link with them and have them complete it before they leave. You will also have an assessment to complete as the facilitator, which you can do later that day. We are grateful that you and your organization are having this discussion. If there are additional questions you have or other things you want to talk through, please do not hesitate to reach out.